Hey everyone, it's me, Donna. Um, I wanted to kind of show some of you people um, how to go to GEDmatch and upload your raw DNA and kind of give you a little information about how to go about finding out things on this page, um, which I'm new to this website as well. I just found it about a month ago after I got my results back from 23andMe. Um, I had heard, about GEDmatch, about it being a free service that's mostly based on donations, but also it will offer you like a tier service to where you can, do more with the site or whatever. But the free service is really good, if you ask me. Um, so anyway, that's what I'm using, since it's free. As you can see, it looks very different from like 23andMe or MyHeritage or whatever. It uses like links instead of like buttons and things like that. It kind of looks old-fashioned. It's not really fancy looking or anything like that. And if you have the latest version, which most people who have recently did a 23andMe kit or anything like that, they're putting your information on a new kind of chip. It's the V5 chip or whatever it is they call it. They recommend you, GEDmatch itself, just the regular GEDmatch website, recommends you go to this Genesis GEDmatch. And it's genesis.gedmatch.com. You go to this website, and then you upload. You click over here, and you upload. What you do is, first of all, of course, you download your raw DNA from 23andMe, which is on the website. It'll tell you how to do that. You download it into your computer, and then you go to this link over here, and then you click on it, and you just follow the instructions, and you upload your raw DNA to this website. Okay, then it'll take anywhere from like a week or two for them to process it and do what they need to do, and then your results will be ready. Okay, and of course, as you can see over here, I've blocked out my information, pretty much my personal information, like email address and all that, with a red box so that you can't see it. But down here, to the lower left, right beside my name, is my kit number. And what I did with it is you can highlight it, and then you right click it, and then you click copy, and you go over here and you can do like a DNA comparison, which you can also just click on the kit itself, and it will bring up, let me show you, it will bring up your comparisons, like your DNA relative matches. It will show you, I'm showing this as an example. I don't want to, I hope people forgive me. I don't want to give away anybody's personal information, but it's, of course, on this, it just shows like their email address and whatever, and you can just contact them and say, hey, I'm your cousin or whatever. But anyway, over here, it'll have like generations, which the numbers in this category have to do with how many generations a person is from you. So if it was like one generation, that means that's probably your parent or your brother, your sister, some, or half sibling, half parent, whatever, or at least that's my understanding of it. Okay, and so like if it was a 2, then that would be like your grandparents, I think maybe an aunt or an uncle, or a first cousin, someone in that category. And then like if it was a 3, then that would be like your great grandparent or your second cousin, I guess maybe great aunts and uncles or whatever. I'm not completely sure about it, but anyway, that's kind of what it represents. So the 3 does not mean that's your third cousin. That just means that person is somehow 3 generations away from you. say like you could count. Say like if you're going up, then you would say you count. You say my parent, my grandparent, and then my great grandparent. That means that's the person that you share with them. So me and this person, if you're just going, say like straight up or whatever, then that could be like a that could be a great grandparent, which my great grandparents are deceased. But also it could be someone who shares a great grandparent with you, if that makes any sense. So that could be like a second cousin, what have you, like I already said. But anyway, I don't want to confuse anybody, so I'm just going to get off this topic. But I found that out the hard way. At first, I didn't really realize what that meant, so I had to look it up, and that's pretty much what it means. So, okay. So let me get out of there. All right. So also you can go over here and you can do basically the same thing like with your kit. Like you can compare one-to-one comparisons, and that's where you can pick someone else's kit number. It shows their kit numbers when you click on your kit thing. You can copy their kit number and go to the one-to-one comparison and paste it into the little box, and it will compare your DNA to their DNA and show where you match up. Just like, say, 23andMe or whatever, when you scroll on down, it will show you actually where your DNA matches up, where it's identical or whatever, and, kind of lets you know how you're kin, that type of thing. But since I don't want to give away too much of anybody else's privacy, I'm not going to demonstrate the one-to-one comparison, because I don't want to, give away their personal information. Okay? All right. Then what you can do is you got right in here, and I didn't find this out till recently, due to the terminology and the fact that I just thought, well, it's just more to do with the, the relative thing and all that. You can go in here and click and actually see what your heritage is. But there's also a neat little thing I want to talk about first that I had knew about. It's where you can find out if your parents are actually kin to each other. So what it will do is it will, separate your DNA and show your father's side and your mother's side and decide whether or not your parents are actually kin, which thank God my parents are not. So that was a sigh of relief. So, but I did think that was neat. That was a real neat thing that it does. Okay. All right. Back to this. You can actually find out what your heritage is with these areas right in here. With this one, you can find out certain ethnicities. You can dive deep down into like how much percentage of Native American are you? How much Asian or whatever. Like you can just have a whole lot of fun with this area right in here. But if you want like the basic thing to where you compare your DNA to everybody, then you click on this one right here, and let's see if I've already got it. Okay. All right. I'll demonstrate just to get it out of the way. I'll show you where the one where you can dive into all kinds of ethnicities, and that will be this one right in here, the Admixture Oracle with Population Search. Okay, so what you do is you go to that page, okay, and it'll bring you this page up, okay. At first, you don't have to like pick out any one particular type of ethnicity if you don't want to. You can just click Find. Just leave this box blank to start with, and then you click Find. Okay. Then what you can do is see it has all kinds of ethnicities. If this will hurry up and load, that you can choose from to compare yourself to. I'm finding out that I've got like a lot of different stuff in me. Like it blows my mind. I did not realize I was actually that much of a mixed race person or whatever. I reckon I'm kin to just about all races on this planet, it looks like. except for the Jewish. I think I don't think I've got any of that in me. Um, but although I am kin to Jewish people, apparently, but you can go through here and have fun. Just check everything. Let's see. Let me find where, because I have found out that I definitely have Asian in me. So I found that to be really interesting, and even which I'll explain that later. But I have Polynesian in me. Uh, on those islands on the outskirts of like Australia and all that type of thing. I was, checking and playing around with this, and I found out that I have that in me, and I'm like, whoa, this is so cool, so neat. So yeah, I mean, you just you could have all kinds of fun. Also, there's a thing for Indian that will search like all kinds of Indian, like Native American, and of course Indians over in India and all that type of thing. So, I mean, you could have a lot of fun just breaking everything down and finding out all kinds of stuff about yourself. You can click right here where it says admixture heritage, and it will compare you to all heritages. And when you click on it, this is what pops up, this page right here. And then you can go down and you can pick, there's like 6 or 7 of these different categories that you can click on to compare your DNA to all these different projects that they're doing. So basically it's like different DNA projects that these companies are doing. They've got their own model around it to compare your DNA to. So it's kind of like comparing your DNA to, say, let's just say 23andMe, MyHeritage, Ancestry, whatever. It's like different pools and research groups doing their thing. So I'm going to pick on this one right here. Well, let's do this Eurogenesis. So let's click on that, and then I click continue, and I picked with the Oracle, which will give me the pie, and then you can, which I'll come back to it, but you can also just look at your chromosomes, and you can see a painting of your chromosomes and all that type of thing. But right now we'll do the pie Oracle thing. So I'll click on that, and then of course I enter my kit number. Let me paste it in there. And then I'm going to use the K13, which you can pick different ones of these to use. But I'm going to just do the K13 as an example. And of course, you don't have to enter your ethnicity if you don't want to. Just leave it blank and then click continue. And it will do its little thing. You just wait a few seconds and it will pop up your chart. And as you can see, it shows for me North Atlantic, which has to do with Caucasian, Baltic, which has to do with the areas around the Baltic Sea, even like I guess Norway, Netherlands, Scandinavia, like as a whole, all that type of area. I've got DNA from that, which I already knew that from 23andMe. West Mediterranean, and then West Asian. So I definitely have Asian in me. I even found that out when I was looking at MyHeritage, that type of thing. Even though it just gave me like a sample report, it actually showed that I was kin to Asian people. It kept popping up that when I would look at the ethnicity part, it kept showing up Asian people from around the globe that I'm kin to. So I've definitely got Asian in me. Also mixed in with Russian and Polish people. It's kind of like a new type of ethnicity where it's like a mixture of Asians and Caucasian people. They don't really quite know how to label that, I think. I mean, I think there's like a few terms out there, but I've been kind of checking into that. So they, they just kind of label it as a different thing from actual just Asians. It's like a mixture. So I've got quite a bit of that. East Mediterranean. Let's see, I've got the Red Sea, and I've got American Indian, which that did not show up in my 23andMe, and I was worried because there's so many people around me that I'm kin to who are Native American. I mean, it was just like everywhere, like Native American, Native American, Native American, and it would tell me that I had Native American ethnicity in common with these people, but it didn't actually show any kind of percentage for me having Native American. It had it at 0, but yet it said that I had that in common with other people. And so, and of course it didn't show up on my sample report from my heritage either, because it just lumped a whole big thing for British, Irish, whatever. It threw in all the Scandinavian, everything just piled into that. The only thing that it brought out was my Egyptian or Middle Eastern and my Greek and all that. And of course that has to do with all this Mediterranean stuff. That includes my Greek ethnicity as well as Italian and Spanish, all that stuff. It's all clumped into that area because that's what this does. Instead of actually coming out and telling you, hey, you've got French, you've got this, you've got that, which I do have French, by the way. But instead of just saying that, it goes by, I guess, like a territory, a regional area. But you can kind of go by what you've already learned from your other ethnicity reports, and then you can kind of pick it down and just, do your own research. And that's why I recommend for anyone to go to 2 or 3 different companies and just kind of play around with it and just see, because it's not that they're giving you necessarily different reports. It's just, it has to do with the gene pool that they're working with, that they're comparing you to, and their their algorithms and all that type of thing. But for me, I can tell it's trying to tell me basically the same thing for the most part, but it's digging into each one. It seems like is digging into new areas that that the other didn't pick up. So maybe where it's lacking, it makes up for it by what it actually picks up, if that makes any sense. So the interesting thing about this is, like I said, it picked up my Native American, which I knew was there. I just, but it's just under 1%. It's 0.9%. So it is small, but still it does prove to me that I do have it in me, and that what I've been told is true. I do come from a line of Native American people. Okay, so that, I'm glad that I did come across this. Also, the Ocean, that has to do with Polynesian people. Those islands, like I said, that are in between Australia and California, out in the middle of the ocean out there, in the Pacific Ocean, all that type of area. All those different little islands, that's where the Polynesian people are from. And of course, Hawaii, that's, the Polynesian people, that's where they are, they're from. That's one of their native lands, or where they, maybe they came from one of the smaller islands and then ended up in Hawaii, or however it was. But, native people in Hawaii are Polynesian. So I found that to be very interesting, because I'm like, how in the world am I Polynesian? But I am. I just don't know how it happened, but it happened. So yeah, so that was really, really interesting. And then of course I've got a little bit more sub-Saharan African according to this, which I kind of suspected that as well, because I did notice on my 23andMe report that it had, like, it's got me at 0.3%, but I noticed speckles of African and other areas of my DNA, but it wasn't registering that. Like, it just had that percentage for that one piece that was up there. And but when I clicked on that category, it had speckles of it in other areas. But then when I actually clicked on the Congolese, those other speckles disappeared, and then it just kept it at that 0.3%. So that tells me I most likely have 0.3% Congolese, but the rest of it is something else. And I think it's just broken down. Like, I think I've got Nigerian, because I noticed that on my MyHeritage. Even though it didn't come out and say that I have sub-Saharan African or Nigerian or anything, it did indicate that when I went and looked at the different ethnicities that I'm kin to, it flat out had Nigerian people. So that tells me, duh. I mean, you kind of have to use your common sense a little bit, or I guess what you say, critical thinking. When it comes to some of these free reports that don't want to give you everything, they do hint around. You just got to know how to read between the lines. So, and do your own thinking and realize, okay, even though it doesn't say that I have this in me, but my other report did, and I do notice that I'm kin to these people who are native to this area. So, hello. That's the only way I can be kin to these people, is if I have it in my DNA. So, yeah. So anyway, I don't want to ramble on too much about that. But anyway, so you kind of get the picture on this. All right. And then, like I said, I can go back. Oops. And you can just play around. You can pick other categories and do your little pie thing. Let me do the, let's see, add mixture by proportions by chromosome. So I can click that. Oops. Well, hold on. I got to select that. Let me click on that again. Let me click that. Okay, and then I click continue, and then I enter my kit number, put it in there, and keep everything the same. Click continue, and see, it will show percentages of each particular type of ethnicity that's in your DNA that it found that's within each chromosome. And of course it goes all the way to your 22nd chromosome. It doesn't go all the way out to your sex chromosome, which for me would be XX, and it's considered as your 23rd pair of chromosomes. It just goes up to 22. So that, it just shows the percentages that's found in each one. So anyway, I'm going to shut up because I'm getting a tongue twister here on this. Okay, but anyway, so you kind of get the gist of how this works. I hope I've made it more simple, and also give like an updated information on what I have found on myself through this website. I wish I would have discovered it sooner, but oh well. Either way, I had a lot of fun with it and everything, and better late than never. So anyway, we'll talk to you later. Bye.